How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm out here in the field today and I'm going to be testing out distance drivers. Recently, as I've been playing, I've been noticing that I'm carrying a lot more molds of distance drivers, and I'm sure that some of these overlap. And so my goal out here today is to throw a bunch of different molds: the Crank, the Nuke, the Force, the Zeus, and maybe a few other ones, and just see what kind of overlap I have currently in my bag. Right now I've got, I think, 4 or 5 different distance driver molds. I'd like to get that down to 2, maybe 3 depending on the course, but just trying to eliminate carrying a lot of different molds. And so that's what I'm out here doing today. I'm gonna test these out, see how they fly with tailwind, with headwind, with crosswind, and then hopefully be able to narrow down some of the discs that are in my bag. So we'll see. I'll give you my thoughts afterwards and let you know which ones are really impressing me and which ones I think have the potential to make the bag. All right, so I'm walking up to some of these distance throws. Some of them you can tell I didn't get a great rip on them. Getting a little tired there towards the end. But overall, I mean, Some of them, there was probably only 2 or 3 that were really surprising. The other ones, I would say, some of them I expected being brand new, but some of these lightweight discs really aren't as flippy as I was expecting, but could be just that my arm speed isn't what it used to be. But overall, I think the Nuke probably went the farthest. We'll see when I get up here. Really like the Crank a lot as well. Scorch feels really good in the hand. As far as overstable, the Zeus and the Force flew very similar for me. I don't know, I think they both feel pretty good. So I'm gonna give them another rip and see how they fly, but I'll see which one went the farthest once I get up here. All right guys, so I'm just going to give you a quick insight as to what I was throwing. First off, starting with these Nukes. These were pretty good flyers for me. The Nuke was by far the farthest flying disc I threw out here today, both in a headwind and a tailwind. These right here will be kind of backups. You know, these were kind of more my straight to stable flyers, which is good, but I got some others that I'll show you in just a second that are doing the same thing. Forces, the Force is definitely a good disc. It overlaps a little bit with my Zeuses, and I'm just really liking the Zeuses a lot. But there's a couple of these Forces that I will put in the bag for very windy days. But for just the everyday bag, none of these are going to make it. Scorches in and out of the bag. I was finding that a couple of my Zeuses would kind of do the same thing as the Scorch. However, this test flight right here, really good flyer. That will be in and out, but for the most part, I think it overlaps with one of my other Zeuses. Again, what I'll explain in just a second. These Zeuses didn't really make the cut today. A little bit lighter weight, but kind of just not as consistent as I want them to be. This Hades right here, you know what? That will actually be in the backup pile. I'll explain that in a second. Surge is really good. Overlap with the Zeuses though. Again, I just like the feel and consistency of the Zeus. The Surge is a really good disc though. 11 speed, but a little too close for me. And then last but not least, the Cranks. These were really good. This is a Z-Lite, and I was actually very impressed with how stable it was. Some of the other ESP Cranks, really good flyers, but I was just getting, for what I need it for, you know, it wasn't going much farther, if farther at all, than the Zeuses, and it definitely wasn't going farther than the Nuke. So anyway, here's kind of what I've settled on. So here's the lineup. So I've got these right here are kind of my backup. So I've got these two Zeuses, which are my honorable mentions. These will be in and out of the bag if I lose one, or if I just need a backup of some kind, I'll put those in the bag. very similar in flight, those two. And then this Nuke right here was one of my farthest flying ones. But I don't like to have two of them in the bag. I'll go into the primary one here in a second. But this one is a really big bomber for me. So it's definitely gonna be in the bag if I were to lose that other one, or again, if I just wanna back up. These Zeuses are gonna make the cut. This one right here is my most overstable. It's what I'm gonna be using for sidearm. It's the same one that's in my bag if you've watched my in the bag. This one right here was flying, I think I got this one out to 430. The longest throw I had today was 456, and that was with a Nuke. This one was at 430, really good flyer. This is kind of in between those last two. Not quite as overstable as the yellow one, but more overstable than the purple. And this is my flippy guy. This is the one I was saying the Scorches could potentially be a backup for. A little bit flippier, really good flyer though, especially in those tailwinds. And then right here, my go-to Nuke. This thing is bombing. It was the farthest flying disc today, both headwind and tailwind. Threw this one 456, which is pretty good for me. I'm not a 500 foot power kind of guy, so 456 is a good throw. The Nuke was flying consistent. And then last but not least, the Hades. These things are great for flippy shots. Don't use these a ton, but these are likely gonna be in the bag. But guys, that's gonna wrap this up. You know, again, wanted to narrow it down to 3 different molds, and I feel like I did that pretty well with the Nuke for max distance, the Zeus for more controlled distance, and the Hades for more of those hyzer flip, big tailwind type turnover distance shots. But let me know if there's a mold that you guys like that you think I should try. Let me know if there's something I should revisit. If you saw some molds out here today that you're really liking, let me know. But guys, that's gonna wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.